Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we will be making snail bread or raisins bread. It's a sweet brioche-like bread, very delicious and very easy to make, looks great, tastes amazing. I hope you enjoy the video and let's begin. We will need 700 grams of white flour, all-purpose or pastry flour. We will need also 4 tablespoons of milk powder, half a cup of sugar, 1 tablespoon of vanilla sugar or regular vanilla extract, 1 egg, 1 teaspoon of yeast, fourth of a teaspoon of baking powder, 4 tablespoons of soft butter, and we will be needing as well warm water. I will be making the dough and kneading it by hand, but you can use your stand mixer or any electric kneading machine. In a large bowl I added the flour, the sugar, the vanilla sugar, the milk powder. Also, I will be adding about half a teaspoon of salt, very important. I forgot to mention it with the ingredients. I'm going to mix the dry ingredients together because I just don't want the salt that I added to be mixed in or touch the yeast. In the middle, I'll be adding the baking powder and the yeast, the egg, and then I will be adding the warm water slowly, making sure to dissolve the yeast. And slowly I will be mixing the dry ingredients with the wet ingredients, adding more warm water as needed. The dough needs to be a little bit sticky, so keep adding more water and mixing till you get a dough that looks like something like this. As you can see, it's very sticky. Knead the dough for about 3 minutes by hand. You can use your stand mixer like I said. Flatten the the dough slightly, add the soft butter in the middle, and then try to incorporate the butter into the dough by pulling the dough from the bottom and tuck it in inside till the butter is completely incorporated into the dough. It will take a few minutes. Knead the dough for about 5 to 7 minutes. The dough should be soft and elastic and not as sticky because there is an amount of fat in it now, so it's less sticky. Oil a bowl lightly with vegetable oil. Oil the dough as well. Cover and allow the dough to rise for about 45 minutes or till doubled in volume or double in size. Once the dough has doubled in size, remove it from the bowl. Try to release the air that's inside. Dust your work surface lightly with the flour. Press gently to release the remaining air that's inside the dough. Divide it in half. Always flouring the work surface because the dough is quite sticky. Roll the dough into a rectangle that's about half a centimeter thick, making sure that the edges of the rectangle are not thicker than the middle. The first bread, I'm going to fill it with jam. So I'll be using about 4 tablespoons of strawberry jams, and instead of raisins, I'll be using candied fruits, but you can use raisins. For the second part, I'll be using Nutella and chocolate chips or any kind of chocolate toppings you like. Spread the jam over the rectangle evenly. Try to use a thick jam, not the runny type, so it wouldn't ooze out of the dough while baking it. Spread out or sprinkle the candied fruits on top. Like I said, you can use raisins. Just soak them in some hot water about 5 minutes before using them. Roll the dough like so and pinch the edges to seal. Like you see here, I'm using flour because, like I said, the dough is very sticky. I'm going to use a thread or kitchen twine to cut the bread like so. I am making quite big pieces of bread, but you can make them smaller if you want. The smaller the slice, the smaller the bread is going to be. Like you see, I am making them quite big. Each log is going to give me 6 pieces of bread. Place in a baking sheet lined with parchment paper or buttered and floured lightly. Place them a few inches apart because they will rise. Press down the bread. We don't want the bread to be too high. We want the bread to be flat, rather flat and big. And like I said, it will rise. Just make sure that it's not too high. Cover with plastic wrap. Place in a warm place, such as your oven that's turned off, of course, and allow the bread to rise for about 30 to 45 minutes, depending on the temperature of your kitchen. For the second piece of dough, roll it into a triangle or a square that's half a centimeter thick. Spread the Nutella or the hazelnut spread. Sprinkle the chocolate chips and roll the dough like we did with the first piece of dough. Pinch the edges together to seal and cut the bread. Like I said, the bigger the pieces, the bigger the bread is going to be. Place in a baking sheet lined with parchment or buttered and floured. Cover and allow to rise. Like you see here, the first bread that we made has already risen and doubled in volume. Brush with a beaten egg mixed with a few drops of vinegar and brush the bread. Preheat the oven to 375 and place the bread in the oven to bake for about 20 minutes until golden brown. For the second bread, I flattened it the second time because I didn't want it to be too high, like I said. But I'm gonna allow it to rise again for about the 20 minutes. That's going to take the first batch of bread to bake. Once out of the oven, brush generously with nappage. If you don't have nappage or don't know what nappage is, don't worry, you can use apricot jam. Just heat it up in the microwave for a few minutes. It will do the same, it will give you the same results. You can sprinkle the bread like I am doing here with silvered almonds. You can also use crushed almonds, crushed peanuts, walnuts, any kind of nuts you want, or you can simply dust it with powdered sugar, or you can do both like I did here. For the second bread, it came out a lot larger because I pressed it a second time. I flattened it a second time. Brush lightly with the nappage just so the nuts that we will be adding will have something to stick to. So this time brush very lightly. I'm sprinkling it with crushed almonds. And some of them I'm going to dust with powdered sugar. This is the final results. Like you saw, it wasn't that difficult to make. Um, looks great, very soft, very delicious. If you use in your stand mixer, it will take you only a few steps, no effort to make the bread, almost no effort. I hope you have enjoyed the video and the recipe. Please don't forget to leave a thumbs up. Leave me your comments below the video, and I shall see you soon. Bye.